Wow there! In this video we're going to show you how to paint Orc and Goblin tribe skin tones in 3 easy ways to get them on the battlefield quickly before they start fighting each other as greenskins tend to do when bored. The paints we'll be using are on the screen right now. We also have a list of the additional equipment we've used, but you can use whatever brushes you feel most comfortable with. If you're new to painting or want to brush up on your skills, you can check out the Citadel Color Painting Essentials videos to learn all about our paints and painting techniques. As you can see, we've sprayed 3 models in different undercoats to help us with what skin tone we're doing. These are Wraithbone, Grey Seer, and Chaos Black. Let's get painting. For our first version, we're going to show a super simple way of getting loads of Orcs and Goblins done in no time at all. Now, as you can see, we've undercoated our Orc with Wraithbone, which will give him a nice light and warm undercoat that will be perfect for our contrast paint. So, we need to apply gut ripper flesh all over the skin in sections. Fill up your brush and dab on as opposed to painting it to avoid brush marks. We've put quite a lot of gut ripper flesh on our brush and flooded the area. This helps to get good coverage. Once you've loaded the area, go back with your brush just to soak up any excess pooling, just to clear the details. This method is perfect for getting a regiment of Orc boys or Goblins done very quickly. You can leave it here, but we're going to show you a trick just to make them pop a little more. Okay, once the contrast is fully set, we're now going to do a very light dry brush of Phalanx Yellow in a circular motion over the raised areas. This yellow works perfectly as a little buff for the skin, highlighting it nicely and bringing some life to the green. When dry brushing, try to keep it really light and build up the colour slowly. It's always easier to add more if needed than it is to take away if you've done too much. However, if you find that you have, all you need to do is go back over the area with gut ripper flesh to reset it. And there we go, our first version of doing the skin tone for warriors of the Orcs and Goblin tribes is done. Really simple way of getting your wow on the battlefield as quickly as possible. Now for version 2. Alright, for version 2 we're going to show you how to do a light sickly green that's ideal for doing Goblins or just an alternative green tone for your Orcs. We're going to use Nurgling Green as a base coat over all of the skin areas. Because it is a layer paint, we need to do 2 to 3 coats of this to get good coverage. However, you can see that we've undercoated with Grey Seer here. This is because having this nice light undercoat helps a lot with this process. Just remember not to continue to paint the same area. Move on quickly, as this helps to avoid unwanted texturing. Even though we're doing a few layers, it still goes very quickly and allows you to get through your regiment smoothly. Once our base coat is done, we're moving on to doing the shading phase. And for this we'll be applying a 1-to-1 mix of Celia Green Shade and Lamium Medium all over the skin. Celia Green Shade works well to bring some depth and substance to our green. As always, just watch out for pooling when applying the shade and allow the model to dry completely before moving on to the next stage. Right, our shade has now dried. The next thing we're going to do is relayer over the raised muscle areas with Nurgling Green. This acts as a nice natural highlight and is also very quick to do. We're using the sculpt to help us here with our placement, going over all of the raised areas, picking them out and leaving the darker green in the recesses. This acts as a nice natural highlight and is also very quick to do. For the last paint of this version, we'll add a nice subtle highlight of Krieg Khaki to the most raised areas of the muscles and features. When painting the muscles, pick out the upper curves and tendons. We've thinned our Krieg Khaki with a little bit of water so it's not too stark when applying it. This helps to make the highlight look more natural on the skin. If we overspill or make a mistake, all we need to do is tidy back up with the previous stages. Okay, our second version is done. Now for our third. This one is focused on showing how to do a dark green tone that is perfect for the fearsome and ruthless Black Orcs. For this version, we've undercoated our Orc with Chaos Black, which is great for this scheme. We're going to base coat him with Caliban Green. We'll need a couple of layers of this to build up good coverage, so remember to thin out your paint with a little bit of water and let the first layer dry completely before coming back to do a second. With the base coat dry, we're now going to shade it with Nuln Oil, applying it all over the skin and, as always, just watching out for pooling. Because you're applying the shade all over the skin, you might want to just let it dry for around 5 minutes before moving on to the next stage. Okie dokie, with the shade done, we're going to do our first highlight, and for this we're using War Boss Green. Go around the skin areas picking out all of the prominent features and raised areas of muscle. For instance, like going over the shoulder muscles here, you can see how I'm picking out the raised areas just so they catch the light, and then going over the forearm muscles here. Like in our previous skin tone version, when doing the muscles, we're looking to accentuate the shape of them, so thin lines like this over the top sections of the muscle works well. If we make a mistake, we can just tidy back up with Caliban green and Nuln oil. Okay, for our final step of this scheme, we're going to use Skarsnik green as a second highlight over most of the raised features. We're going to focus these on the face and knuckles. Paint within the first highlight and use the tip of your brush to help keep the highlight nice and small. Skarsnik green works really well to make the skin pop out nicely without having to do too much effort. This scheme is great for getting your regiment of black orcs done quickly. And there we go, 3 easy ways to paint your warriors of the orcs and goblins tribes to get them on the battlefields of the old world in no time at all. We've had a lot of fun with this video, and we hope that it's given you the inspiration to get your wah roused and eager for a good scrap. For more tutorials, tips and tricks, check out our videos on the Warhammer YouTube channel. Or you can head to your local Warhammer store where our amazing staff will be more than happy to help. Well, we hope you've enjoyed this video and we'll see you again soon. Bye bye!